Well, it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't done my reading. I didn't do it yesterday. I can't remember if I did it the day before, and so I'm having to talk quiet. So we're gonna read, because I don't know what tomorrow's. So I've lost my glasses. I'm gonna be trying to talk quiet. But my glasses that I normally wear, I don't know what happened to them. After the last time I recorded, I don't know what I did. They went somewhere. They've got to be in the house. So I've got to keep looking. But in the meantime, even though I'm wearing contacts, I have to wear readers, because getting old fucking sucks. I'm tired. Did I mention that? Okay. So I'm gonna kind of lean close and project my voice towards the camera. Okay, so we're starting on page 164. Okay. At so too solicitation, I now went to rest. Rest, alas, how could sleep get into my tearful eyes? All night long I lay awake, bemoaning the sad fate which had overtaken me. Had accusation and arrest fallen upon me, I could have borne it like a man, but that vulgar's loving heart should have been singled out to bear a blow so undeserved was almost death to me. As the hours dragged wearily along, I thought of reversing my order, sending my men away, and attempting a rescue. I thought of schemes to bribe the gaoler. I thought of demands for the interference of my government. I thought of an appeal for mercy direct to the emperor himself. When day dawned, I was utterly exhausted and sank back upon my pillow with a groan, anticipating my inability to get any rest from my throbbing brow and fever-heated limbs. So too was early at my chamber door with his attendants. Under his direction, they bathed me in cooling lotions. I'll make sure I didn't turn the clock off. Okay. So too with his attendants. Under his directions, they bathed me in cooling lotions, patted, rubbed, and chafed my limbs, fanned me, stroked my wrists and temples, gave me draughts of quieting powders, gently pressed my eyelids down until gradually I sank into a deep sleep, which lasted quite until high noon. I woke with a strong heart. Now I was myself again. My sorrows had not grown less, but for the time being, I was the master of it. I'm really tired. So too met me with a broad smile. I kowtowed profoundly. He expressed the hope that his tall, graceful, broad-shouldered, handsome-visaged guest of knightly bearing had slept well. As for me, he added, my miserable little crooked frame was full of pangs and tortures all night long. To look at him, it was hard to see any effects of all these pangs and tortures. He seemed at the very picture of good health and spirits. His broad face was as smooth as a baby's, and his little eyes sparkled with suppressed humor and mischief. We grew quite merry over our morning meal. I was playing a part. I determined to let him think that by degrees I was becoming cured of my extravagant affection for Bulger. With every cup of tea he drank, my nose ring felt weird. With every cup of tea he drank, his cold exterior kept melting off. I felt that if I had left him quite to himself, he would give me a clearer view of his inside nature than if I attempted to draw him out by leading questions. I called into use all my wit and imagination. I buried him beneath compliments and fine speeches. I told him some of the most diverting stories. At last I was successful. The servants were directed to withdraw. So too now assured me in the name of all of his ancestors that I was the most delightful guest that had ever slipped tea beneath his roof. Maybe I just shouldn't be reading. I can't even talk. It's been a long day. So too now assured me in the name of all his ancestors that I was the most delightful guest that had ever sipped tea beneath his roof. He entreated me to honor him by rising and placing my tall, graceful, knightly form alongside of his miserable, puny little rack of bones. I made haste to accept the invitation, protesting, however, that I was quite overcome by the honors showered upon me. He maintained with equal pertinacity that he was utterly unfit to occupy a seat by my side. So we continued our war of compliments. Suddenly, so too thrust his right hand under his richly embroidered tunic and drew forth a small case of tablets, which under his richly embroidered tunic and drew forth a small case of tablets, which folded upon each other in a curious way. He gave it a slight jerk, and it flew open and unfolded itself. I have been thinking, he began, of the approaching trial of thy dog on the charge of witchcraft. A lump arose in my throat at these words, but I gulped it down and simply bowed my head as a sign of my attention. Thou art a stranger in our land, continued So too. Perchance thou wilt be pleased to know the things which I am about to tell thee. Nowhere else in the great world can perfect justice be found save in the dominions of our gracious emperor, him of the sacred countenance, while thy nation and the rest of the western world knew no other law than force or fraud. We had already received from our ancestors thousands of volumes filled with the rules of perfect justice. Happy indeed should be that criminal whose good fortune leads him to commit his crime in our favored land. This has been a horrible reading. I hope you're able to keep up. His punishment will be exactly what he deserves. Thou, as the advocate of this fortunate prisoner, who is so dear to thee, art allowed to choose the yaman before he shall be tried. I, so too, thy friend, do here set before thee the list of yamans, so thou mayst choose thine own arbiter. Saying this, so too placed the unfolded tablets in my hand, and then dropped off into a gentle doze. I scanned the list with mingled awe and curiosity. It read as follows: the list itself, all by itself, of and nothing else, only the just judges, all by themselves, followed by nothing else. 1. Ling Bos, a just judge. 2. Quan Chong, a just judge. 3. Pu Pu, a just judge. 4. Wa Sat, a just judge. 5. Long Tongue, a just judge. 6. Keen Chop, a just judge. The list of just judges and nothing else. Thinking that so too was sleeping soundly, I half unconsciously murmured to myself as I glanced at the first name on the list, Ling Bos, a just judge, when to my great surprise, which, however, I was careful not to show, so too, without opening his eyes, spoke as follows: I, a just judge, a very just judge, but a dangerous one, neck too short, neck too much blood, hence brain too hot, never willing to hear both sides. Oh, that was a horrible. It took me 10 minutes to read a page and a half. Okay, so we'll start on 167. All right, I gotta go through some emails. I gotta see how far behind I am with classes, and then I have to see how far behind I am with money. Anyway, quit procrastinating on anything and everything. Time wasted is just that, wasted. Avoid distractions and the noise around me. Block it out. The art of continuous self-love through food, through water intake, through intentional meditation and thought. Something inside of me is superior to circumstance. Is it kind? Is it true? Does it reflect my authentic self? Focus more on money and its education. Focus more on self-discipline. See the sun, honor the moon. Forward momentum. The path out of hell is through misery. Honor my journey. We are slaves to our own incessant need. We are slaves to our own incessant urges to escape the present moment. Meditate, walk, journal, stretch, love animals. Leave life to wonder all it needs. Less stress, more fairy tale. Work on bettering the love I show my body through the food and beverage I put in it. With money, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Focus. Lose any ties to victim mentality. Continue to help yourself. Okay. So now I'm ready for bed. Hopefully, the next time I do my little vlogging here, reading, we will be in a much, a more peaceful state than current. I fear we're very close, as we all are, to World War III. So let's pray we're in a better place.